Hi guys, my name is Emily. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a books I am currently reading as of Friday, August 17th. The reason I like making these videos is because it gets me talking about things that I have started and have sort of been left sitting. Let's start with the thing that I was reading this morning, the thing that I am most actively reading. So that would be The Miseducation of Cameron Post by Emily M. Danforth. So this is the story of Cameron Post. Obviously, she is a girl living in a small town, very Christian small town in the country. Cameron's parents die in a car crash when she is quite young, and she is put under the care of her very conservative aunt and grandmother. And so when it comes out that Cameron has been kissing girls, she is sent to a Christian re-education boarding school. The writing makes you read it at a really slow pace because it's really detail heavy, which means that it's a really rich reading experience. Like, I can very much picture these like small town, quiet, intimate moments, but there will often be big gaps of text between dialogue. So like you'll have like a question or somebody will say something that triggers a memory or some sort of opinion or feeling from Cameron, and you'll get like a whole paragraph, and then Cameron will respond, and by the time you get to the response, you've forgotten what the line before it was. And I find myself, especially when the dialogue is moving the plot, I find myself really tempted to just skip to the next dialogue line and be like, okay, let's see where this story's going. I want to know what happens next. I anticipated this being a really quick read because it is YA. I am enjoying it so much, but it has sucked up so much of my time too. The next book I have here, I have only read the introduction for. I have borrowed this from work, and it is Dead Girls, Essays on Surviving an American Obsession by Alice Boleyn. So this is a collection of essays. Let me just read you the blurb because I've really only read the introduction. So on iconic American works, from the essays of Joan Didion and James Baldwin to Twin Peaks, Britney Spears, and Serial, illuminating the widespread obsession with women who are abused, killed, and disenfranchised, and whose bodies, dead and alive, are used as props to bolster men's stories. With 14 smart, accessible, thoughtful, and heartfelt essays, Boleyn investigates the implications of our cultural fixations and her own role as a consumer and creator. This just sort of ticks all of my boxes. Like, it's pop culture critique, it's literary critique. I'm kind of into sort of death and crime investigation. Definitely listen to Serial, listen to other murder podcasts. I feel like it will be really interesting to read someone critique that, and from the introduction it sounds great. So I'm really excited to continue with this and to get into her analysis and see how I feel about her analysis. That I have 2 weeks to read, so that I want to read as much as I can before I have to return it to work. The next book I have here, I am 45 pages in, and this is The Untethered Soul, The Journey Beyond Yourself by Michael A. Singer. So it was recommended that I pick up some self-help well-being books to sort of try and be more mindful and thoughtful in my everyday life as a way to sort of, I guess, help my mental health along. And so far what I've discovered is that I am a hypocrite. So when I read the science books that are like, I am the scientist, I have the capital T truth because I did the capital S study, and I have the capital F facts, I'm like, what about personal experience? What about anecdotes? What's your sample size? Is your study funded? Who's it funded by? And I nitpick all of the aspects of science that could bias truth. And then when you read something like this that has no science, I'm like, well, where are your studies? Where are your research groups? What is your sample size? Where are you getting this percentage or this number from? What studies inform your decision, sir? And all of a sudden I'm like, where's the science? Where's the receipts? Where's the research? I don't know how helpful this is going to be because I find myself, I've read 2 now. I've read the 4 Agreements And throughout that, I was like, okay, where is your science, sir? And then as I'm reading this, I'm like, where is your science, sir? Apparently I want some sort of magic balance between science and like personal philosophy. I want some sort of meeting in the middle. Speaking of being like self-reflexive and meditative, it is interesting to see my own like gut reactions to these things when in the past while reading research I have been like very like critical. I'm still asking questions about what I'm consuming, but now I'm looking for other people to respond. I don't know. It's interesting to see how I think and to catch myself thinking. I'm not enjoying this, but I'm probably gonna finish it because it's tiny. The next book I have here is, once again, Die Mitte der Welt by Andreas Steinhoffel. So this is a German text that I'm working on reading, and I have been really bad with my German studies since I went to Nova Scotia. The last like 17 days in July I was in Nova Scotia and I didn't do any German, and I haven't done any German since. Like I just can't get back into it, but I think I might have to start back at the beginning with Die Mitte der Welt. This I do really want to finish because I do really want to work towards my 5-year goal of fluency. The next book I have here is something that I think I've maybe left too long and have to start back at the beginning, and that is Why Are Critics Afraid of Dragons by Kim Selling. So this is Understanding Genre Fantasy. I think I may have to go back, maybe not through the whole thing because this is like her PhD dissertation. I may have to go back to the beginning and refamiliarize myself with her thesis statement, so I'm thinking I might just have to reread her introduction and then jump back in. This is really good. It is really interesting to get reflective and to think critically about a genre that I love. The next book I have here I got very stalled on, and that is Fall on Your Knees by Anne-Marie MacDonald. So this is a piece of Canadian literature. It was recommended to me by you guys ages ago because of my interest in family stories and trauma and Canadian literature. I sat down and read it one day and I got 96 pages into it, like loved it. So much reading in one afternoon, just consumed this. And then I haven't picked it up since because the size intimidates me, because so many of the books that I have right now are either really big or really like theoretically dense. But I am really enjoying this. I do really want to get back into this. It's just huge. The next book I have here I brought on my trip to Nova Scotia because I wanted to do this thing where I took pictures of the books in the places. So like I wanted to bring this book to Nova Scotia and take a picture with it. Like I did take a picture with Anne at the Green Gables tourist house historic site in Cavendish, PEI. I did that, but I never ended up doing that for Newfoundland or for Nova Scotia. So I actually brought this on my trip and I had this in my bag while we were in Newfoundland. I've got my ferry tickets in here, and so the one day we were waiting outside of our little like beach cottage in Cow's Head, Newfoundland, and I was sitting on this beautiful deck looking out at like all these weeds. You could see the water coming in, and I read the first like 40 pages of Gaff Topsails and I really enjoyed it. But then again, it was something that I sort of started on the vacation, but I cannot read in the back of a moving vehicle. It didn't ever seem like a right time to pick it back up because the only times that we had like downtime and I wasn't in a moving vehicle was when we were with other people. Started it, would love to reread it, just haven't had the time. The next book I have here is The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up by Marie Kondo. I have KonMari'd my closet, and the next part that I got to was KonMari'ing your bookshelf. And at that point, I sort of realized that the KonMari method is really not for me. I do really like the process of KonMari'ing the closet. I like the idea of pulling everything out of its space. I think that's really effective. I'm not sure about joy being a unit of measurement for purchasing things. I think I might leave this where it's at. The next book I have here, I have actually been really enjoying flipping through, taking my time with it, and that is Bygone Badass Broads by Mackenzie Lee. So this is a collection of just snippets of people's lives, badass women throughout history, and it is a nice point to start with your research. I think if you read it cover to cover, you would instantly forget about like 99% of the people. I'm enjoying taking my time with this. And the last book I have here, I don't know what happened to the dust jacket, but I am about 80 pages into Sleeping Beauties by Stephen and Owen King. So this sounds the least like any Stephen King novel I've ever read. I feel like Stephen King's voice hasn't been super present, at least in the first part of the book. It also reminds me a lot of The Beauty by Alicia Whitley or something like that. I will put it up here. It is a speculative fiction novel, sci-fi novel in which all of the women die of a plague, and then fungus starts growing from the bodies of the women and the fungus turns into women. It's a commentary on gender. Just in the early stages with what is happening to women catching the sleeping sickness and having these like weird white sporish things on their faces, like the silk threads of moths or insects or whatever. It has similar vibes for me. I feel like it's going to take a less social commentary avenue, and it's gonna take a more horrific avenue. I'm excited, I'm enjoying what I've read so far, but again, not a light read. Like, I have read a lot. I've spent a lot of time reading in August, but I haven't finished very many things because everything that I pick up is huge or dense. That is what I am currently reading. That is what I have decided to stop reading and remove from my TBR pile. Let me know in the comments down below, have you read any of these things? Are you excited to hear me talk about any of these things in future wrap-ups? Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will hopefully see you very soon. Bye.